What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flagrant Talk Sports Podcast. It is Moses and Isaiah here.
What
with
up?
some more March Madness for y'all. Guys, we can't thank y'all enough for the support on the last video.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely blew us away. Just overwhelming support. It was awesome. Zay and I were talking about it right before the vid started. Awesome seeing all the teams, fans commenting, different conferences, different parts of the country. It was really awesome. So we thank you for commenting, sharing all the things, and we're excited to get some more stuff out for y'all. So
absolutely. Talking with Mo, first off, thank you. Can't say thank you enough. Our best video yet. Not just from a view standpoint, but from content. Like Mo and I worked really hard on that video. You could tell by the length of the video, that's obviously there. And we kind of just put it up as we do with all these videos, just hoping to do things we love, talk about topics we love, and post them. So having a video do really well, having a comment section that's full of basketball talk, people, I feel like every conference was represented. Like,
yeah,
it didn't matter. And that was awesome. So feeling very lucky and feeling very happy because this is, for me personally, my favorite sporting thing, period, across sports. Nothing beats it. And that's why we're spinning back. We said we have a lot of March Madness content. And we mean we've got a lot.
We meant it. Yep.
There's a lot of content. So with this, we have a mock March Madness bracket. So you might be wondering, hey, where do you get this from? What are you doing? So Andy Katz, shout out Andy Katz. He does his kind of weekly bracket previews, going through them, saying who he'd have come out in a mock scenario. We took that and then we updated it with some of the games today. Eastern Kentucky got eliminated as a 1 seed in their conference in a crazy game. People were commenting about that too. Insane game. Mo and I were talking about it like, holy crap, they're going to lose. And then Lipscomb, who I had winning, lost as well. So Mo, your Stetson pick is looking good.
Looking solid to start. I'll take it.
Looking solid. So when we get to the 16 seeds, Stetson is in over Eastern Kentucky. But for the most part, the bracket, the bubble's been tinkered with a little bit. Everything else, we're going to go through pick by pick. In this scenario, who Mo and I would have winning a title this year. An impossible task.
It is, but we're going to attempt. And
we're going to do it regardless because it's fun. And it's awesome.
It is awesome. I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's the best. So with that being said, we're going to go region by region. So we're going to fill out this entire one. This one, for those wondering, is the Midwest. Purdue's region. As the 1 seed, it runs through them. We're going to go pick by pick, fill it all out, get a team to the Final Four, and boom, pop into the next one.
Bet.
With that being said, Mo, let's get this baby started. Purdue.
Let's do it.
Their first game, Mo, against either Central Connecticut or Grambling. Obviously, a very, very, very disappointing year last year against Fairleigh Dickinson, losing to a 16 seed. Do they do it again?
I would have to say no off of first glance. But it's March. They got same coach, similar squad.
Very similar.
The ghosts are calling for sure. It's definitely, 116. Some people wouldn't even bat an eye, but
yeah,
that's they're human, man. That's sitting in their head. They're like, dude, we can't be this team to lose again. We have to win this game. Could the pressure amount to be too much? We'll see. But based off gut, based off of the matchup, I'm going to rock with Purdue here. Zach Edey, in the running for Wooden Player of the Year.
I think he is
probably going to win it.
Yeah. Um,
That is a different video, different conversation, but he's 7'4", 7'5", can't really do too much.
Dominant.
Skill, dominant. It's not
Yep.
just having size. You got to know how to use
Thank
that
you.
size, and
Thank you.
he knows how to do it. So
Let him know.
can't really be upset at that.
Yeah.
You can't just be born 7'5" and oh yeah, that guy's gonna make it to the league. You got to work, man. You got to put the work in. It's not given; it's earned. So
totally agree. I think that is kind of the disappointing thing about some of this Zach Edey discourse is like, oh, well, of course, because he's so tall. Like, yeah, no, that is a factor. His size is a factor. It is a big reason why he is as good as he is, but that isn't the reason he is as good as he is. The Purdue discourse is interesting because I feel like there's two spectrums. You have one spectrum that's going, hey, they suck and they're going to lose again. And they proved it last year, and it's the same squad. I don't care what they did in the regular season. They're going to lose to a 16 seed. So you have that camp.
Yep.
Then you have the other camp that was, hey, well, when Virginia lost, they came back the next year and won a title. When they lost to UMBC, they won a chip after.
Yep.
I'm somewhere in the middle.
I would have to agree. I'm not thinking they're one of my, obviously they're got to be a favorite. They're a 1 seed, but personally for me, not one of my favorites to win it all, but not saying they can't make it there either. Like
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a team I'm willing to count out. Obviously, you can argue they're the best team in basketball, and I won't, look at you sideways. On that same note, there are teams that I prefer over them. And this path is going to be an interesting one to fill out.
100%.
Moving on to the next round, who will be facing them in the round of 32. If it wasn't obvious, I agree with most pick of Purdue.
Yep.
Oklahoma and Mississippi State, an interesting 8-9 game. Because Oklahoma at the start of the season, there was some serious hope that they could be a Final Four type team.
Yeah.
And they've kind of cooled out. And not to the point where they're out of the bracket, not to the point where you should not take them seriously, but I don't see Final Four in them.
I would agree.
Just my assessment.
Yep.
Mississippi State, we know what they can do. They've been a solid team this year out of the SEC. Absolutely have what it takes to make it to the second weekend.
Yeah.
But for me, I will be going with Oklahoma to get a victory here and advance. I'm going to trust the talent. And if it weren't for that heartbreaking loss to Houston, they'd be better off in this seed line.
I am going to agree with you here. Obviously, there's a lot that can happen between when this game would be played and now. But Mississippi State's currently on a little 3-game skid, which is never a good sign heading into the tourney times of your conference or the big dance. So gonna rock with Oklahoma. Like you said, that they had Houston. A couple things didn't go their way and they lost that game, but they legitimately could have had another massive quad 1 win on their resume. So
totally that Houston win is enough to move you up a whole seed.
Yeah.
Like without a doubt. And if you are able to get out of this 8-9, you will take, there's a big difference between being a 7 and an 8.
Yeah.
Especially with how good these 1 seeds are.
Man.
So that's not a fun task, but both of us got Oklahoma. Here is a very interesting one, though. I promise you right now, if the bracket came out and Clemson played McNeese, McNeese is going to have like 65 to 70% of the people picking them over Clemson.
Yeah.
It would be very popular.
Crazy, but McNeese is, if you guys haven't seen, if you guys didn't hear it in our previous March Madness video, McNeese is legit. They
are.
Have a explosive offense. They also have a really good defense. Obviously, conference, it's not the best. Can't really, got to take it with a grain of salt, but it's their competition. You can't blame them. They can't change that. And
No.
with what they got, they showed, man, we're a pretty damn good basketball team and we can play with the big dogs. So as you said, 65% probably is going to be taking them, and I'm part of that 65%. I cannot lie. No hate on Clemson. Great team, 5 seed, ACC, tough conference. Play Duke a couple times a year, play a couple big teams. But this McNeese team, man, I don't know. I'm feeling got to have a couple upsets in there, and I feel like this is one of them ones that I feel like it's going to hit. I feel like
I agree. I think the tough thing about if this bracket panned out the way it did is Clemson is a team that has flown so under the radar. They're top 25 in the net. They have nice quad one wins over your Boise State Broncos, on the road against Bama, Pittsburgh, which is a whatever win, TCU, and a win at North Carolina. So that is a good team. I feel like they just get a tough draw here with McNeese. I'm joining you in that camp. I've been rewatching games of teams and really starting to like find the gems, the teams that I have that could go on a Cinderella run or that could make the Elite Eight. McNeese is a team you don't want to mess with. They have some nice size and obviously the scoring punch to be able to keep up with any team, regardless of conference or seed. So both of us have got McNeese coming through with a victory over a good Clemson team.
Very good. Yeah, no hate to Clemson. Something about this McNeese squad, man.
It's dangerous, man.
Not
the team you want in your region because they are like the prototype Cinderella team. Like to a T.
For sure.
With that being said, Kentucky against Vermont. Similarly, for Kentucky, Vermont is not a team you necessarily want to just play with.
It's not a walk in the park.
No.
That's a sucky first round matchup as a 4 seed. Probably if depending on the other 13 seeds, probably the best 13 seed out there. But
that's a quality team. With that being said, I've got Kentucky. I think the biggest concern for me, and I said it in our last video, I am nervous about the defense of a Kentucky. I have a bit of a pause. I don't think it's a championship level defense. However, the offense is good enough, man, to where they can go Final Four. I firmly believe Kentucky has a Final Four run in their repertoire. So I've got Kentucky moving on to take on McNeese.
I agree. Like you said, I personally think their defense is a little bit better, but still it's not the best. Vermont, really great offensive team, so it's definitely a scary start for them. It'd be a great test to get them going, and then especially if they made it to the next round, McNeese would be a real one. And they won those 2 games, I would be feeling really good about Kentucky, and that's kind of a little preview. That's kind of what I'm feeling, but I'm rocking with Kentucky, one of my personal faves. Love love the energy of their team, man. It's high. It's electric.
It is. And I talk about their defense, and let me be clear, it's not nearly as bad as Alabama's, right?
For sure.
Alabama's is I mean, their coach came out and said last week, we can't guard anybody. And that is true. That is not an understatement. They genuinely cannot guard anything. We'll get to Bama later, but when I say I'm wary of Kentucky's defense in the long run, not nearly as much as a team like Bama. So
for sure,
to put that out there. The next game, and man, this has potential to be the best game of the tournament for this round of 64. WSU against Princeton, who I spelled wrong. There is an N in there.
There we go.
But But anyway, now they're set. Mo,
Mhm.
6 seed WSU, who has been a darling. They've played really good basketball against what in this is Ivy League winner Princeton. Who have you got?
This WSU squad is really damn good. They blew me away with a win in Spokane against my Boise State Broncos in our neutral site series, which has been an amazing series, and I'm so glad they started that. WSU, 5 quad 1 wins, man.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it. Tallest starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you gotta have skill there, but I'm liking the making of this team, and I'm gonna go with the Cougs here over the Princeton Tigers. But like you said, man, Princeton's a solid all around, little experience in the tourney. Don't sleep. This isn't a walk in the park. But
No.
I'm a lean Washington State. I think probably got a little bit better defense.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see when if they match up. But
Totally.
yeah.
Someone had commented about Princeton in our last video, and I said, hey, whatever team, if Princeton wins the Ivy, opens up against them, that's tough.
Yeah.
Because Princeton is a team that has the makings to go to the second weekend, that has the makings to go to the Sweet 16, maybe Elite 8, depending on the draw they get. I'm siding with you, though. I love Washington State. I've been all in on them this year, and it's really cool because by all accounts, they should not be nearly as good as they are.
No, they were nowhere. Like, at least at the beginning, I didn't really see them on the radar that much. Like,
No.
I'm assuming some people probably had them as a probably 10 or 16 seed make the tournament, but 6 seed Washington State, that is
like firmly in the field. Like,
yeah,
they can lose their conference tourney's first game and they're fine.
Yeah.
So I really love this WSU team, a team that, as a quick preview, I think can make some serious noise.
Yeah.
No exaggeration there. I'll back it up when we get to that point.
Sounds good.
The next matchup, Creighton going against High Point. I was just watching a High Point game earlier today using ESPN Plus, no sponsor. So, if you don't want to get it, don't get it. But anyways,
I personally think it's worth it. But
yeah.
If you're a sports fan,
of course. Needless to say, High Point is a really fun team, a team that can score the ball. They've, sometimes struggle with closing out games that they have normally a grip on.
Yeah.
But not a fun team for Creighton, who is a very quality team deserving of that 3 seed.
Yeah.
As much as my heart wants to pick High Point, and
you're very high on them. You're very high on them.
I'm very high on them. I think in this situation, it's a really difficult draw.
Unfortunate.
And as bad as I want to pick them, I'm going to go with Creighton to advance.
I am also going with Creighton. Like I said, they're trying to get that Big East title, that curse off their back, finally get a win. If they can do so coming into this tournament, watch out, bro. Sky's the limit for this team.
Final Four type team.
Yeah, very, very veteran, smart, know how to work games, win games. I'm a fan of the Blue Jays.
I totally agree with you. High Point is a team, though, when the real bracket's out, it's going to be interesting to see where they land, if they're a 13 or 14 and what team they get, because there's a couple teams whose name may or may not start with K and end with Anzus, where I would seriously consider picking High Point. But that's neither here nor there.
All right.
Next matchup, Northwestern, who suffered a tough loss today to Michigan State, a close one though.
Close, very close.
And not a loss to hang your head at. I saw the stat they put up during the game. Tom Izzo has won his last 12 senior nights at home. Obviously at home, but his last 12 senior nights,
yeah,
Michigan State has won.
That's it's a pretty good streak, man.
It's a pretty good streak. So Northwestern, tough loss, but not one to hang your head on.
Yep.
With that being said, and you saw it firsthand last night, I think Nevada is very dangerous.
You mind if I take this away for a second?
Please, go ahead.
As I said, I was at Boise State, Nevada last night, our senior night, and Nevada rained very harshly on our parade, came into the Extra Mile Arena, and just suffocated our offense like I had never seen before. Like their defense last night, because we played Nevada earlier in the year, we won. It was a 8-point win, good game. Their defense was not like it was last night, and that is it. It was scary. It was suffocating, and offensively as well, shooting the three very well, great in transition, causing turnovers. It was just Nevada grew on me a lot last night, and because of that, I know Northwestern, they beat up on Boise State last year in the first round, so they're probably like, oh, another Mountain West team. I'm excited for that. I'm going with Nevada, man. They showed me a lot last night, and I'm pretty high on them now. So
I agree with you. Would make a hell of a game. I would love a Northwestern Nevada one. I am curious because obviously this bracket was done prior to their game against Boise State. I wonder how close Nevada is to an 8 or 9 seed as opposed to a 10. Kind of like I said, you might be better off as a 10. That's it's preference.
Tough. It's tough, yeah.
It's a very solid team.
100%.
The next game, though, and the final game in the region, Iowa State against Quinnipiac. Iowa State is a team that I have seen get hated on, and I don't quite get it. Like, I don't know if I'm watching different Iowa State games than others.
Yep.
I've seen people say that, like, hey, you got to pick a 15 seed. You got to pick a 15 or 16 seed to pull off that upset, and whoever Iowa State gets, like, whoa. That is a very good team, 8th in the net. They are 11-7 in the top 2 quads, which, hey, having a winning record in the top 2 quadrants, a win over Houston, which is very good. I like Iowa State to win this. I get, there's going to be people that are picking 15s, and I can't fault them.
Yep.
But me personally, I don't have it in me.
Yeah. I agree. Quinnipiac, I don't believe I had them winning their conference, so I don't even think I'd have them in the tourney. No, that I'm not gonna put that against them in this bracket, but still, I'm gonna go with Iowa State. Yeah, man, I don't really get the hate either. I feel like they're kind of like Clemson in a way. I get their 2 seed, but just kind of like under the radar, not really talked about. Big 12 was really good this year. People would talk about BYU. People would talk about other teams. I kind of feel like Iowa State was swept under the rug, but
just consistently good, and they're good on both ends too.
For sure,
like,
for sure.
They're a very complete team. So I'm not saying everyone's hating on them, but I feel like out of these top 2 seeds, there isn't like hate for Marquette. There's concern, and I think it's valid.
Yeah.
But Iowa State feels like one that everyone's like, yeah, they're there. They're there, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's no consideration that like this team can win it all.
Yeah.
Like they have that ceiling.
For sure.
So quick love to them. But
the
back Cyclones back up in the Midwest now in the round of 32. Number 1 Purdue against number 8 Oklahoma. This would be a great game.
Really good game.
I think again, this is a pretty nice draw for Purdue.
I lean Purdue here. Who's gonna guard Zach Edey? I feel like that's a question for 99, if not 100% of the teams out there. I just obviously got the Grove boys down there, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I just feel like Purdue on a little bit of a mission.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe the afterburners don't kick on right here, but we'll see. We'll see.
I like Purdue. And similar to what I said, I think they're trying to exercise some demons here.
Yeah.
This time around. And I think, hey, making the Sweet 16, if you lose here, it's not where you want to be. The team desperately, I feel like to call the season a success, you have to make the Final Four. I think realistically, as people, critique the season, they're going to say, hey, good team, but you got Zach Edey, you've got decent guard play. Final Four, you got to come out of your region. And I think this matchup here that we're going to talk about next with McNeese and Kentucky is going to cause problems regardless of who would win.
I agree. Let's jump on over to that, if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
This game is going to be a shootout, to say the least.
Dude.
But I'm going Wildcats. I say that, but like my mind, it's like it's a challenge to say that.
It is.
Shouldn't be. This is a 12 seed, but it's not no normal 12 seed. This is the team that has the highest point differential in college basketball by a couple points over UConn, over obviously again, who are they playing? But still, it's impressive. Doesn't matter because then all the other teams in these lower seeded conferences would be doing the same, and then they're not. I don't see any low seed conference teams in the top 5, top 10 like that. So impressive season, can't knock it. I think the run comes to a little end right here, man.
I think so too, and I have Kentucky winning, and it's tough because McNeese really does have the recipe for a team that makes the second weekend too.
Yeah.
Watching them play, I believe they're starting 5. It's a junior, 2 graduates, and 2 seniors. That is perfect with Will Wade at the helm as a coach with March Madness experience. They have the makings to go Sweet 16, to go Elite 8, like without a doubt. And they're going to be a popular pick to do so if they get in the bracket, no matter who, they're going to have to beat, whoever they're going to have to upset.
Yeah.
With that being said, I like this Kentucky team. I really, really do. Obviously, the defensive issues, especially in their next matchup against a Purdue. But I respect this Kentucky team. I think they have top 4 upside. And we'll leave it at that.
For sure. This is a game and a half.
Holy crap. Man, where do you go with this?
I think I have a direction, and the direction might be biased, but not in the way that you might think because I'm from Washington State. Boise State last year, obviously, made it to March, did all this, did all that, got bounced. San Diego State, team non-conference, rolls all the way to the finals of March Madness, the big old championship. Washington State, we played them this year, played them last year. They beat us this time around. We could be in their position. We could be a 6 seed right now if we did what Washington State did, but we have a couple more losses, a little bit more struggle in the conference. I'm going Washington State because it's going to be another one of those scenarios. Man, that could have been Boise. That could have been us, man. But basketball side, I love this team. Creighton, I also love. I had them going deep last year, and they went pretty deep. Not as I think I had them in the Final Four, but they went on a little run. Same squad. I feel something in this Washington State team, man. Like, they're not here often. Not trying to hate. It's true.
Since Clay,
some teams, obviously it's a given that they're going to be in March at the end of the year. Some we're in March, dude. Let's go do this.
Let's turn it up.
Why not?
I agree.
Washington? Yeah,
I agree. I had Creighton in my Elite Eight last year.
Yep.
And so, you know, I really like this team. This team has a lot of the same components as last year. I think they just get a tough draw here. And maybe this is my, you know, bias of just I've really come to love WSU. Seeing them in person, obviously, too, gives you a different perspective.
Yeah.
Especially when the game we saw was against another tournament team. It was a great litmus test at the time, and they've been great ever since.
Yeah,
I've got WSU here in the Sweet 16, and that's a tough team to stop. That's a tough 100%. Team to stop.
100%. I also learned that the last 10 games that used to be a big thing for getting into March, they got rid of that. It's every game, start of the year, end of the year, doesn't matter. Which I partially agree with and I partially don't.
It's an interesting one because you look at a team like UNLV. If they went by last 10, they're a tournament team.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But they have 3 quad 4 losses.
That hurts.
Like, you have, I think it was Gary Parrish for CBS last night. He was saying that they basically with those quad 4 losses, you put when it drops down on an anchor on you and you sunk yourself to the bottom of the sea.
It's tough.
And now 3 quad 4 losses, you can't make that up. So can UNLV win the Mountain West? Yeah. Me personally, I fully think so. I would not want to play UNLV. They can beat any team in the country, but the only way they get in is by doing that. So
yeah, and that's one of the toughest
tourneys
to win this year, especially. So
over 6 tournament teams in there. So if you're able to get through that, then more power to you. With that being said, kind of a perfect transition to Nevada.
Yep,
taking on Iowa State. The tough one. A piece of me does want to go Nevada, and it could definitely be that recency of what I've seen lately is very good. But I was talking that talk about Iowa State, and I stand by it. I've got Iowa State advancing to the Sweet 16 as a 2 seed to meet up with WSU in what would be an amazing game.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you. I can't let the recency get to me, even though it was one of the better performances I've seen live. There's a long season. They obviously had a couple of bad losses, or else they're a 10 seed in this. They probably jumped up a little bit from Boise State, got another regular season game and the tourney, so a lot can change. But I'm going to go Iowa State as well. I think Nevada could definitely push them, definitely give them a game, especially if they're playing up to the level that they were last night, that they can play at. But I'm a lean Iowa State when the ball gets tipped.
I agree. In saying that we have been 100% even this entire time.
Have we not missed?
We haven't disagreed on a single pick. And again, we should have said, I think we did say this at the beginning, but we don't talk about what we pick going in because it's more fun to be authentic.
For sure.
So ironic that we've got the same Sweet 16 teams in this region.
We like the matchups in this region.
We do.
Yeah.
And this is the one
I think this is where we split.
We may just split. I want to say that, hey, the expectations are high for Purdue. This is the time. But I've got number 4 seed Kentucky.
Okay, we are not splitting. We're not splitting because I agree. It's tough, man. Like you said, I feel like you got to make it to that Elite Eight, Final Four, even for the season to be not a failure, especially considering last year. But there's something about this Kentucky team. I know the defense is a question. Zach Edey's going to be hard to stop, but that's every team. Like I've said, it's
without a doubt.
Very few teams have stopped him, and if it was stopping him, it might have been Zach just having a bad game. Like, I don't know if he really can. So it's going to be a really tough game, really good freaking game.
Dude, this would be as a Sweet 16 game.
Oh my gosh,
my goodness,
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, bring the homies over, set the chairs up, get the drinks flowing, and enjoy amazing basketball.
Yep.
I think you kind of nailed it on the head. You can't stop Zach Edey. You can't. He's basically a surefire to get you 20 and 10.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have to deal with that. Maybe even closer to 25 and 10.
Yeah.
You can stop those other guys.
For sure.
And you have to stop those other guys. Edey's gonna do what Edey's gonna do. If you stop those other pieces, you are able to give yourself a chance, no matter what team you are.
Agreed.
I love Reed Sheppard for Kentucky, one of my favorite players in the country. He comes in off the bench and just is a punch to the face of any team. Potential to be a top 10 pick in the draft.
Yep.
There's definitely some youth with this Kentucky team that does make me a little wary, but I'm going to trust them.
Trust Cal. He
trust
normally
Cal
knows how to get those young guys going. He's had a couple young teams, won a couple chips, so I think he can get it done out of any coach out there. But
I agree, and that leads us to another incredible matchup in this region. WSU taking on Iowa State. Mo, who have you got?
So you started it off by saying there's been a lot of hate on Iowa State. And I wasn't a hater. I wasn't a truther either. I was kind of in the middle. I do feel something about this Washington State team, though. And because of that, I'm going to take the Cougars here to make it to the Elite Eight. I honestly can't believe I'm saying this. Like, that is, I didn't know that I'd mutter those words this year.
Listen, I've loved WSU. I've said it what feels like for the past couple months that they have Final Four upside, that they have Elite Eight upside. With that being said, I am taking Iowa State, though. This is our first time splitting off. I love their guard play.
Yep.
And I think, I wasn't quite sure how far they could go in this, but I kind of liked this region for them a little bit.
No, their draw, I probably wouldn't have had them this far in a lot of regions, I feel like. But
no, I feel like they just kind of landed in a nice spot. And the way the bracket has panned out, I've got Iowa State advancing. Both great teams, though, without a doubt.
100%. That's going to be a barn burner for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And with that, to go to the Final Four, are you taking the blue blood, the Kentucky Wildcats? Are you taking Cal? Are you trusting the young, hungry WSU team, shocking the world and making it to the Final Four?
There is some reality where the Washington State Cougars pull off this David v. Goliath upset. But I am not living in that reality, and I am going to go in the blue corner, stick with the Wildcats. Started off at the beginning. I said they're one of my favorites. I'm going to roll with my gut, roll with what I said. Wow. Sorry, I once I saw you keep typing, I kind of lost train of thought. Zay, what do you got?
You're good. You're good. I'm not mad at that. I feel like Kentucky is a dangerous 4 seed. A lot of people are going to pick them off name alone.
Yeah.
Seeing that you even get them out of value because they're not a top 2 seed, at least in this. But I've got Iowa State coming through. I really love this draw. And I trust that the guard play for them will be enough to carry them a little bit. It's I'm not mad at literally I could see Purdue, I could see Creighton, I could see WSU. Like this region, it's tough to argue that like McNeese is even in here. You don't know. Like this year in particular, with how crazy it's been, nothing would surprise me. So
this is a wild card dream of a March Madness, but I respect the Iowa State pick. I feel like based on how they would set up, they obviously no game is easy in March, but they'd have the easier path. I mean, Kentucky would have to go through Purdue, and that's going to take a lot out of some teams. So
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So we move on to the next region here, the West region. I've been all in on Tennessee, all in, and that does not stop here. Dalton Knecht, one of the best players in the country. A Big Sky transfer. Shout out my Eags from Northern Colorado. As a Celtics fan, I was telling Mo, I'm just going to put it in the video so it's here and we can come back to it when it happens. He feels like a Miami Heat player. Dalton Knecht feels kind of similar to a Jaime Jaquez. Like Knecht is 22. He's too old. He won't fit. The Heat will go, okay, we'll pick him up with the 20th pick.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys can pick all the 19-year-olds. That's fine. We're going to pick the guy who can contribute right now.
Yeah.
Just figured I'd get that in video format. But yeah, I've got Tennessee advancing over Norfolk State. I'll take Norfolk State over Little Rock.
Yeah. Honestly, whoever made it out, I'm going to go Tennessee. I don't have either of those two teams winning their conferences.
I know I picked Norfolk.
Is that right? Is Norfolk in Wright State's conference? I know Little Rock is in Brick. Nice job, Mo. But anyway, so I don't spend time trying to think about it. No matter who it is, I'm going Tennessee.
And it's interesting because this final 1 seed is really interesting because the first 3 are locks. It's going to be Purdue, Houston, and UConn.
Yep.
This final one is interesting. It could be Tennessee. It could be, I think if the bracket came out today, it would be Arizona. I think North Carolina, if they win the ACC, at least has a shot.
Yep.
Marquette with Tyler Kolek out is done. Iowa State has a chance given the conference they have to play through.
Yeah.
But me personally, I would take Tennessee. I think they're due to win the SEC, and they're, to me, the most dangerous team in basketball right now.
I kind of gave you a little something in our last vid for saying that, but after watching them today, I cannot be mad at you.
Yeah.
I cannot be mad at you.
They're dangerous, man.
Yep.
With that being said, they get Texas or Nebraska.
Oh my gosh. When we first looked at this, I didn't realize it was Nebraska, man, because I'm high on Texas, but I really like Nebraska, dude. Wow.
I like Nebraska too. I feel like they're a home court hero. And
that's what you talked about.
And for that reason, I also really think this Texas team, man. Oh man.
Dude, there's some about like they so underperformed.
Mm-hmm.
When you got a guy who took a no-name school and put him on the map in March, back where he thrives, it's kind of hard to pick against that. Like,
I really like this Texas team. Max Abmas has already shocked the basketball world with Oral Roberts. Now he gets the opportunity with Texas. This is an awful draw for Tennessee. Not an awful draw as in they can't win it, but relative to like Oklahoma, Mississippi State, no hate, but
Dude,
like
even as we get down the line, maybe having to go through San Diego, even like
it's tough.
That's tough. Yeah.
So got Texas advancing. Boom.
Agreed.
South Carolina, ironically enough, lost a close one to Tennessee today. So
made it interesting for sure.
They did. It was a weird ending. They would not go away.
Yeah, because it felt like it was over for a lot of the, I don't know, little like last 10 minutes, the second half. Tennessee's looking good. Kind of thought it was wraps, and then they just kept crawling in, yeah.
And they're a team to me that I don't love in terms of a run.
Yeah.
And I think the Lopes are a team they've still got to win their conference. That's why this whole video is more fun than it is like real.
Crazy how much can change in a week.
I've got South Carolina actually advancing over GCU.
Agreed.
It's a quality team. GCU has given me slight reason, like a couple reasons of concern late in the season, which I don't love as a viewer or as someone filling out a bracket. So I'm going to trust the Gamecocks to win here. It's going to get us demonetized that I even said that. So
agreed. But
we'll move on.
Mascot.
Yeah, their mascot. Anyways. So yeah, this next one, a team you're also very familiar with, the team that made it to the championship last year, San Diego State.
Insane. Taking
on UC Irvine.
Fun game. I like the matchup. UC Irvine. I messed it up in our other video. I flip-flop. I had it written down in my notes correctly. I just brought it up incorrectly. UC Irvine leads their conference in opposing team points per game. They're not the bottom, they're the leader. So that's a big difference. So
for sure.
They got a pretty good D on top of their great offense that we were talking about. So all around, very solid team.
Quality 13.
For sure. Similar to how San Diego State is built. I believe San Diego State is more of a defensive first team.
Oh, yeah.
That defense creates a lot of havoc and turns into easy offense and transition, and they're damn good at it. So I'm going to go with the Aztecs here, San Diego State over UC Irvine. But great game, I think. Yeah.
I think so as well. It's going to be interesting to see how San Diego State follows up last year.
Yeah, with they got all the attention last year. Now all the eyes are on them. People are gonna be like, "Oh, they're 4th seed. Let me send them into the Elite 8 already." I like them, but
it's gonna be interesting. Yeah. I think that's why their draw is so important when we get to Selection Sunday, because like
Selection Sunday, bro,
the best day ever. It is the greatest feeling to see pick by pick of like, I think they could upset or like they got left out, like all that. The best.
Boise State, obviously most schools do this. Sorry to cut you off, but most schools do a little watch party at either the arena or whatever. So gonna go to that. It was fun last year. We were up against Northwestern. The arena was hype. Well, I love it, man. It's great. It's great.
Back again.
Yep.
This one is interesting. You get Wisconsin against either New Mexico or St. John's. Rick Pitino out of nowhere. A team that I think today, if the bracket came out, they're in the field. Like
they've been on a heater.
An absolute heater.
Ever since Pitino, that interview came out, it's been one of the worst times of coaching of my life. That I haven't seen this in my 80 years or whatever it is now that he's out of coaching. Feels like it's been forever, but that message they turned it around real quick.
They responded, and they responded in a big way. So I've got St. John's beating New Mexico. I love New Mexico's guard play.
Yeah.
And they're a sleeper team as well. I feel like I say this about every team, but genuinely New Mexico has, the ability to make it to the second weekend. Their slide has been bad. Yeah. They can't seem to solidify themselves in the field. And I love St. John's right now. So I've got them in the first 4, and I have them defeating Wisconsin and going to the round of 32.
I'm rolling with Pitino and the boys as well. I'm a join you on that.
Not a fun team, man, to play. Like, talk about getting hot at the right time.
Yeah.
They were like dead and gone, and then it was like, oh, Patino's got them they're playing better. Like they're starting to notch some wins, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, they're in the field.
Yeah.
And as teams like Wake Forest play themselves out, as Seton Hall and Nova and Providence and all those teams keep battling, St. John's winning and getting themselves in. Very quality team.
As for Wisconsin, you know, they were just kind of very Big Ten, obviously great conference, but they've just been kind of very middle of the pack as far as their stats and team stats and all that go. You know, 6 seed, so can't knock them. Solid year,
no,
but they're not really moving me in a
they don't
direction. I don't see like a strength that I'm really drawn to, a weakness that I'm truly drawn to. They're just kind of there, and
they're staying afloat.
I'm not trying to hate, yeah, but it's just how I see it. Yeah.
I totally agree. And like at the first half of the season, it was like, oh, okay, like this team is really clicking. And as the season has gone on, I'm pretty out on them, especially in a spot where they have to go up against either New Mexico or St. John's.
Yeah,
I'm out. Like I'll probably take either of those teams.
I agree.
The way this bracket panned out. This next game, Akron against Kansas. I'm telling you right now, if you're looking for a 14, if you're looking to get a little big upset, pick Akron in this hypothetical. However, I don't have the cojones to send Kansas out round 1. So for that reason, I'll be having Kansas advance to the round of 32.
I'm also going with Kansas. You know, Hunter Dickinson, big part of Michigan team that made it to March last year. 2 years ago.
I know it was 2.
He was on a March team in Michigan, star of the team. So has the experience now on Kansas with some other guys who also have experience. Yeah, McCullers out there. I like the team.
No depth.
Yeah.
None.
It's a little scary over there for the Jayhawks. They're normally one of my favorite teams when it comes to March. I don't know why. I've always been drawn to them. When they had Devontae Graham, I was really
man.
The Jayhawks. I just love them. I always had them going deep, but it's kind of first year in a little while. I'm a little more lenient, a little more not lenient, a little more worried about what they got going on down there.
I'll tell you right now, the way they are in this bracket, their berth is going to be short-lived. We'll spin back to them.
Sounds good.
The next game here, St. Mary's and TCU. St. Mary's suffered their one and only conference loss in the last game to Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Got smacked around a little bit. And I feel like they're going to be a popular team for people to not have win. I'm going to show them their respect, though. I like TCU.
Yeah.
But I like St. Mary's more, I guess, is the most simple way to put it.
Yeah, no, this St. Mary's team is legit. As you said, absolutely cooked the WCC in conference until Gonzaga decided to pull their heads out and play like Gonzaga. But
totally,
they had an amazing year, dude. St. Mary's, great non-conference little schedule, a couple tough losses.
Yeah, they did not start off the season started, and it was like, oh, they
rough.
Were bad.
We beat Boise State, beat them.
Yeah,
in the non-conference schedule. Yeah,
it was not pretty. And then all of a sudden, they just got hot, and they could not lose. And they took their first loss in 2024 to Gonzaga. Like, that's a dangerous team.
Yeah.
Sidebar: Aiden Mahaney is, as a Zags fan, it's tough to watch that brother play because he can put up buckets. Next time, or if you've never tuned into a St. Mary's game, if you're kind of curious, Aiden Mahaney to me plays like a LaMelo Ball light. I don't quite know how to explain it, but the way his like dribble moves,
he's got some swag. I remember because it's a sophomore season last year. I think he won WCC Freshman of the Year. He was cooking last year.
He was insane.
This season, no, he's got that swag that it's just kind of flow. He's loose, comfortable with the ball. He's a fun watch. As a Zags fan, it's tough for sure, but basketball, he's a hooper.
I agree.
Yeah.
This next matchup, go Eags, my alumni, Eastern Washington. They got to win the Big Sky. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I feel like they can be a 14 seed. Maybe that's my bias.
Yeah.
But they're not a 16, so 15 is whatever. But a tough game against Arizona, who lost to a 15 seed last year. So if you're Eastern, you go into this game like, hey, maybe.
It's been done before.
It's been done before, and it's been done recently with a lot of these guys on the team. With that being said, similar to what I said about Purdue, I think this is exercising your demons type March Madness, and Arizona is going to take care of business in that first round.
I'm going to agree with you. Go with the Wildcats. Just unfortunately, the better team in this matchup. But
I agree. It's tough, but go Eags. Listen, I'm going full bias when we get in because I manifest when we get in.
Yep.
Oh, please. Anyways, they don't care about that. Number 1 Tennessee taking on number 8 Texas. Dude, the best game of probably this in St. John's in Kansas. This game is incredible. I love Texas. I respect Texas. And if they are an 8 seed in pretty much any other region, I'm going with them. But I'm going with Tennessee. I'm Tennessee pilled. So that's what we got going to the Sweet 16. Mo, go ahead.
Taking the Longhorns.
Holy crap.
But it's because I have a method to my madness. They're not just winning this one.
Oh.
They're not just winning the next one.
Oh, Mo.
They're not just winning. Okay, let me calm down. I don't know yet. Because I really want to take Tennessee right here. My everything is telling me to take Tennessee. The stats are telling me to take Tennessee.
So you've got Tennessee out in the round of 32. Don't even make it to the next weekend. No spoilers, but this alone is enough to break both of our brackets. They're going to be totally different now, which is awesome. But if this happens when we fill out our real brackets,
a lot can change in a week. Right now, even though I just watched Tennessee cook today, going Texas.
If it wasn't Texas, I'd be more mad, but I really like this Texas team too.
I'm drawn in. I love their squad.
I can't blame you.
Yeah.
This next game, I had South Carolina advance to win one game because they had a matchup against GCU that I liked. This one, though, I think San Diego State's defense is too stout.
Agreed.
It'll be enough to slow them down, to grind them out. And Ledee has the ability to drop 25. So that's what I've got. San Diego State, another successful March Madness, making it to the second weekend.
Yep. Not too sure about South Carolina's clutch, but I know San Diego State's clutch is definitely there. Definitely been tried and tested. I'm going Aztecs as well, dude. They're solid. They have built an amazing basketball program. Yeah.
I agree. And a hell of a matchup against, for me, Tennessee and Moses, Texas.
Yep.
This next game is my biggest upset so far. I've got St. John's.
I want to join you, bro.
I've got St. John's. This is where I think a couple things are at play in this situation. One, Rick Pitino. Two, as I've said, this Kansas depth, like I can't over exaggerate how big of a problem it is. If Dickinson gets in foul trouble, done. If McCullough, who is playing, there was, potential that he'd miss the rest of the regular season. Obviously, he's back. He's good. That's awesome because McCullough, to me, and this is maybe a hot take, is the best player on Kansas. I think even over Hunter Dickinson.
Not mad at that. Not mad at that.
I like KJ Adams. This is not an issue with Bill Self. This is not an issue with the starting five. That is enough to win a title. They're that good. But if foul trouble happens, if a sprained ankle happens, if a Charlie horse happens, done. And I think St. John's is hot at the right time, a team you do not want to F with. I've got it. You got to have some double-digit seeds make the second weekend. That's what I got.
I'm going to go Jayhawks, but I'm not mad at the pick at all. As you said, St. John's hot, cooking. Kansas, they're 3 seed. Some might say a little bit of an underachieved year, which is insane.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Has Bill Self ever been a 4?
No way. I don't think so.
I don't. In my lifetime, at least.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So, yeah, it's a failure. Like,
failure.
When I talk about Kansas, I don't want it to seem like, oh, I'm out on them. They won't win a game. I just don't think they have the ability to win a chip with a bench that's that bad in the same way Alabama can't win one with a defense that is that horrific.
Yeah, like, for sure.
Some teams have those handicaps where it's like, hey, they can't advance far enough because of it. I think that's the problem for Kansas.
Yeah.
The final matchup of the round of 32, St. Mary's taking on Arizona. This would be a very fun one, similar to Purdue. We're going to exercise some demons here. I've got Arizona advancing.
Agreed. Great game. Another great game.
Yeah.
St. Mary's, give them a little run, I think. I think they got the talent too. But
without a doubt,
I just think the shot making, the Omar playing
the
as well
size,
as he has been,
and St. Mary's does have the size and rebounding to keep up with Ballo. So it's not this thing where it's like St. Mary's is out. Yeah. I would, if this situation happened, I'm not surprised in the slightest if St. Mary's wins. I respect that program. I respect Randy Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
But similar to Purdue, I feel like they've got to make the second weekend after last year.
100%.
Going back now, and this is where our bracket is very different.
Yes, it is.
Tennessee against San Diego State. I love San Diego State. I fully understand if people want to have them go to the Elite Eight, go on another deep run. But to me, a Sweet 16 is still a successful season. I've got the 1 seed. I've got Tennessee staying hot, keeping her going to the Elite Eight, holding steady.
I was about to say, you may as well just keep dragging that copy and paste across because I'm going Texas.
Oh, wow.
I've been saying, man, I love this Texas squad. Tough season, tough conference schedule. It's tough, bro. It's tough to compete in the Big 12, but
it is.
There's some Max.
Something in the water.
I feel like Max is doing it again. He's got a better team around him. He can do it with Oral Roberts. He can do it with Texas.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, with more experience.
Yep. Can't hang my hat on one event, one March Madness to give me the keys to everything, but there's something about the Longhorns I'm vibing with, Dan. No hate to San Diego State, like you said, would be a great season making it this far still, and I could definitely see them. If I like your Tennessee pick, real quick, doubling back, I'd have them over SDSU, but Texas, SDSU, I could definitely see San Diego State getting over the hump. But
I'm I'm not mad. And keeping up with this region being controversial, I've got St. John's making the Elite Eight, defeating Arizona. Those first four teams, those teams that play, they are able to go on long runs. This is Pitino in his white suit.
I love Pitino.
Taking the world by storm again, saying, hey, this program is back, and they're back in a big way. We're making it to the Elite Eight to take on one-seeded Tennessee.
Wow. Not mad.
You got to have a double-digit seed go far. Has to happen. And this is the team for me.
I respect it. I have Kansas, Arizona. This is where Arizona finally knocked the Jayhawks out for me. A little bit more depth. Just the anger and frustration of last season and
not mad.
Grinding and being a 2 seed and losing in the first round. I think they got that mojo going, that attitude of let's go prove those doubters wrong. And
without a doubt,
I'm going Wildcats.
Without a doubt, in this matchup, I love it how this region is totally different for us. I have got Tennessee taking on 11-seeded St. John's on their miracle run. What a season it's been, putting the team back on the map. Sadly, though, it is coming to an end. I've 1-seeded Tennessee making it to the Final Four. And I get the critique of like, hey, when Dalton Connect isn't doing 25 points per game in the SEC this season, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That there's some cause for concern. I fully understand that. And that's fair. I think they have enough pieces to overcome that. It's also a big if to expect Dalton Connect to slow down. Like,
especially how he's playing right now. Yeah.
It's like saying, you know, oh, well, all they have to do is slow Zach Edey down. Yet that's way easier to say than to do. Yeah. So got Tennessee advancing for me to the Final Four. Who do I have up here to meet up with Iowa State? Who have you got, Mo?
I think you know this look and these facial expressions.
Yep, let me copy that here and let me paste that here. Texas.
I'm going Texas.
Not mad. You won't hear complaints Texas, from me,
bro. Okay, I know I'm gonna hear complaints from some people, but yeah, I don't care. Yeah. I'm letting my original thoughts hang out again. This is the original.
That is not what I thought you were gonna say. That is hilarious.
I was gonna go a different route, but I calmed myself down. Going Texas, bro. Knocking off the 2-seeded Wildcats. We'll see what happens.
I can't be mad at that. Texas is a team that I gave a lot of love to in our last thing. We both did.
Yep.
Can't get mad at you continuing that love.
Thank you.
This time around. On to the next region. Damn, it's another long video, y'all. It's another long video, y'all.
A little bit, but
we'll you know,
we'll
get it right. Whatever. Suck it up. Or don't watch. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, next up. We've got the South. We got the South region. Yep. Houston taking on South Dakota State. Houston, best defense in college basketball. Championship upside. Let's keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
I agree.
No disrespect. Because this one
this one we unfortunately are gonna have to keep short and sweet as well.
Really?
Sucks for me to say.
Wow.
I hope this clip comes back to bite me in the butt. I hope.
This would be a hell of a matchup, man.
But dude, I can't even. It'd probably be a double-digit win, bro.
Oh, Mo, let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Let's not be in that headspace.
Okay.
Let's not be
Okay.
in that headspace.
All right.
On to the next one. Auburn.
Sorry. Hey, whoa,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't. If anyone from Bronco Nation is listening, if you're out there, like I know how I might sound right now, but Gonzaga should not be an 8 seed. This is bull. If this is our draw, they know what they're doing.
That's a tough draw.
They know what they're doing at Boise State at, is it 0-9, 0-10 now in March? They know exactly what they're doing. Man. So that's all I gotta say. It's on the committee. It's not on us. Next.
Valid. Hey, why would you take blame for something you didn't control? F that.
We had a great year. I love our team. I'd love us against, I forget who the other 8 seeds were already that we've seen, but
Texas.
Okay, never mind.
And Oklahoma are the 2 that we've seen.
I might give us a nod for that.
Those are, dude, the 8 seeds are real good. Looking back, that's
tough.
Yeah, hell of a game. I agree with Gonzaga, though. I think that's a tough draw for Boise State. So not that they can't win, but
especially if Gonzaga reverts back to how they have looked most of the year. But
without a doubt,
if they're clicking like they looked the last game of the year, and we're looking how we did on senior night, it's gonna be a tough one.
It's definitely gonna be a difficult one. But luckily this isn't real yet. So hey, if this is real, we'll have
cross that bridge when it comes.
Exactly. This next game though, 5-12 Auburn against Richmond. Auburn, I think they have one quad 1 win. They cannot beat the teams that are better than them in terms of like, their
net rankings and
like they can't seem to do it. I did have the Richmond Spiders winning their conference, though. And I do have Auburn advancing. I think, similarly, this would be a very popular Richmond pick.
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to join you with the Auburn Tigers, but I didn't have Richmond winning. I forget what I did because
You had Dayton. You had Dayton.
Yep.
Who is in here? So I think.
They are.
They're in this region too. So we'll get to them.
We'll see.
Get to them. Damn, Dayton, Indiana State would be crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got Auburn winning. They're a team, paper tiger, no pun intended. We'll see. It's very much gonna depend on who they play. They get McNeese in this first round. I'm taking McNeese, and I'm not thinking about it twice.
Yeah.
So. On to this next one, 4-seed Illinois against 13-seed Samford, who is deadly. Who do you got, Mo?
Fighting Illini. I'm going to Illinois, but not confidently. This is, as you said, a little dangerous Samford team.
I agree. Dude, this sucks because I feel like the teams I really, and this is how it always is when the bracket comes out, the teams that I am like, hey, they can go on a run as like a 12-13 seed. They get tough games like this. Like all of their games are going to be tough, but dude, it's different when you play Wisconsin in the first round than it is when you play in Illinois. Like 2 different worlds. I love Samford. This game is very much winnable, but I agree with Illinois there advancing. This next game, Dayton, Indiana State, coming right out the gate. I'm picking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Indiana State, blanking on their mascot. But yeah, I've got Indiana State winning. Slight cause for concern to end this year, but Dayton has struggled against Loyola Chicago and teams like that as well. So I'm picking yet another 11 seed to advance. Are you joining me? What do you got?
Putting Larry Bird back on the map. Let's rock with it.
Yeah,
even though I didn't have them winning it, the conference I have, dude, I'm struggling with these freaking conferences, dude.
It was Drake. You had Drake.
I had Drake. I don't think they're on this list, but
I don't think they are.
yeah, if Indiana State can take it, win the conference tourney, keep on rolling in, come and beat Dayton, I'm on board.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's the interesting thing for Dayton is they're the only team in their conference who does not have to win it to get in.
Yeah.
They're going to play for pride regardless. They're going to play and try to win it and improve for their seed. Maybe they get a 5 seed. Maybe they get a 4 seed. It'll depend, obviously, but you know that is different. It's different for them than it is Loyola Chicago, who's playing for their season.
Yeah.
But a great game. The next one, Duke v. Charleston. I think this Duke team is dangerous. I really do. I've got Duke advancing here, a team with, to me, Final Four upside.
Agreed. I'm going with the Blue Devils. Charleston, we touched on them a little bit. They're solid. They're no walk in the park for a 14 seed, but I think Duke's got quite a bit more firepower and they're going to put it to use. So
great trio of guards with Kyle Filipowski. That team is deadly. Not a fun team, and I think again as a 3 seed, very deadly in this region
for sure.
With that being said, FAU, who made the Final Four last year, played themselves into a similar spot this year as a 10 seed this time instead of an 8, taking on Texas Tech as a 7. I have FAU advancing again. It's a very good Texas Tech team.
Yeah.
So by no means this is not an easy win. But I've got FAU continuing that magic, picking up another win or maybe 2.
I touched on him a little bit, got his name wrong, but I got it this time. John L. Davis, not Johnny. John L. Absolute bucket clutch. I watched a couple FAU games all year, and one of them happened to be the one he dropped like 36, 37. He was just absolutely cooking fools. And if you can have a guy with that type of offensive firepower on your side in March, I'm going to take him.
Yeah, I can't be mad at that. This would be a really tough one. I'd really toss and turn on this in a real situation, but
for sure,
I'm leading FAU.
Yep.
The next one, Marquette v. Oakland. I'll be totally honest. I love Marquette. I love Shaka. I love Tyler Kolek. I love all those guys. If Kolek is out, if he's not capable of playing in March, I might lean Oakland.
Give me Wright State. My bad.
But with that being said, if Tyler Kolek is good to go, I've got them advancing.
Agreed.
Marquette. But man, I'd be lying if I didn't at least heavily consider a 15 seed over them.
Even if he's out, I see them skimming by, making it through the first round. Like, man, hopefully he can come back around this round 2, second.
Spoiler, I don't even think they get that opportunity.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yep.
The next matchup, Houston and Gonzaga, and damn.
And the round of 32 is insane.
Similar to Tennessee's draw, you're playing a team who's playing their best brand of basketball with Gonzaga. That's not fun. That's totally different than getting a team who's kind of like trending down or who's wobbling through. Gonzaga is hot. I will be taking Houston, though. Best defense in college basketball.
Yeah.
The ability to make the Final Four, to win a championship. I'm trusting that to take them to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I agree. Gonzaga, if they didn't kick it on a little too late in the season, had a better seed. Obviously, I'd have them going quite a bit deeper, but shot themselves in the foot to start the year, man. And you can try your best to dig yourself out of that hole, but there's a lot of other teams in similar positions with better XYZ.
Yeah.
It's basketball, Division I. It's tough.
Without a doubt. It is interesting, though, if they win the WCC, like they're, I think 15th in the net off the top of my head, 14, 15, somewhere in that ballpark. The committee is going to love them if they win out. They might be looking at more of a 6-7 seed than an 8, which would be good for Houston and Gonzaga.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trusting the Cougars. That defense is like, they can stop anyone. So the next matchup, Auburn, Illinois. This is where Auburn struggles to beat teams ahead of them, really kicks them in the ass. I've got the Fighting Illini advancing to the Sweet 16 to take on Houston.
Agreed. You pointed out to me that Auburn only has one quad one victory. So, yeah, man. That's not a recipe for success, especially in March. Yeah.
No, it's enough to win a game, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But to beat 6 teams in matchups that get harder and harder and harder, and those final 3 or 4 are all quad 1. And if it's an upset team like a Samford, that's a team that just knocked off Illinois. Like, that's basically a quad 1 team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got Illinois there.
Agreed.
The next matchup, I get Indiana State is a darling. People are going to love. But I would have Duke, trust in the talent of that team, advancing to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I'm going Blue Devils again. Little blue on blue crime here, but I'm going with the dark blue a little bit. Yeah.
Can't be mad at that. I think this Duke team has Final Four potential.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. This next game is where things do catch up with Marquette for me. I've got FAU.
Give me the U.
Building off of their great season. And it sucks because I do love this. I had Marquette go Final Four last year. So let me just make it clear. I really like that program.
We're very similar in our picks, man. I was right there with you, but they screwed me harshly.
Hard, man.
Yes.
That Michigan State loss effed my bracket up like very early. So that sucked. This next one, Houston and Illinois. And again, I like this path for Houston. I've got them advancing here to the Elite Eight.
Agreed.
I feel like this is a really nice path.
Some teams just got blessed, dude.
They did.
Like, I mean, it happens every year. Like, you're like, dude, this team, I'd have them going out in the round of 62 if they had this path. Yeah. But they're in my Elite Eight because they had, like, it happens.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes it's like, man, I'm out on Wisconsin. Like, they're a team. I keep bringing them up because they are that prototypical team that going in when I'm filling out my bracket, I'm pretty harsh on. But if they get a matchup where it's like, oh, you got a 12 seed that I thought would have been like a 13, I'll have you win that. But and then of course you get a 12 seed against a 5 where you love both, and you're like, damn, that sucks.
Yep.
Meeting Houston in the Elite Eight, I've got Duke.
I do as well.
I think
we're back on our common ground.
We are. The last region was mayhem.
Yep.
But we've settled back the same to the Elite Eight.
Yep.
We're gonna disagree here though. I've got the 1-seeded Houston Cougars advancing to the Final Four. You got Duke?
Do I disagree with you?
Oh, okay. Well, let me hold up.
Yeah, let's hold our horses. I don't, dude. That would be such a damn good game, dude.
This would be incredible.
Yeah. Oh my. Bro, yeah, give me Duke, man. Let me give me Duke, bro. I like Houston, obviously best defense in the nation, as we said. Give me the Blue Devils up and down. Filipowski with a tragic, devastating injury.
Oh man,
that he's bouncing back from, and it's just great to see. So
yeah,
love the Blue
seriously.
Devils bouncing back, and like we've said, they got the guards. I mean, so does Houston, but I'm gonna give them the slight edge. Hope the TikTok star can turn up a little bit. Let's
Oh, I
get the
was gonna
dub.
sing the song, but I
Might
can't.
yeah. A little quick hum.
Yeah. On to the final region, the last one we got. This is the East region with UConn as the top dog. UConn against Stetson. This was when Andy Katz had his Eastern Kentucky, but they're out and
They're
Lips
bounced.
comes out. So Stetson is the 2 seed, so we gave it to them. Not that it matters to me. I've got 1 seeded UConn advancing, unless you've got anything shocking you would like to tell me here.
Although I picked Stetson to win the Northeast Conference. No, that's Central.
I think it's ASUN. I think it's
ASUN. You are. Yep,
Yeah.
You're correct. ASUN. Although I'm proud of that pick, and nothing's over yet, but they're looking solid. I'm going with the Dogs. Probably the favorite overall to repeat, which is insane. Not sure if I have them doing that yet, but I definitely have them going deep.
I agree with you. On to this 8-9 game, Michigan State against Colorado State. This would be an awesome game.
Yep.
Awesome game.
Damn.
I'm nervous about this Michigan State team, I'll be honest, but I'm more nervous in Colorado State, and one of the teams is Tom Izzo. And so
that might be the kicker. I think I'm with you, dude. Colorado State, they're solid, ranked for a large portion of the season.
Yeah. They were on fire during like the mid part of the season.
We talked about it a little bit. I thought they were I didn't mention them actually when we talked about the Mountain West. I thought they were going to run away with the conference for a while. Utah State, San Diego State, they're all up there, but man, great year. Talked about Isaiah Stevens, GOAT, tough guard, what you need.
So good, man.
But I'm gonna give the slight edge in a great matchup to Michigan State.
Not mad at that. This is a tough draw for UConn, man. If this were the case, and I get it, this Michigan State team isn't great, but it's Tom Izzo in March. It's like it doesn't matter who he has on his roster. Like it's like Eric Spoelstra in the Heat. Like they're gonna be competitive. It doesn't matter who they're playing.
For sure.
The next matchup, 5 seed BYU against 12 seed South Florida. South Florida is one of those teams that I think has the ability to make the second weekend, and I'm backing it up. I've got them eliminating BYU, who is having a hell of a season.
Yeah, that's a shock to me because I'm going Cougars because of their great season, because of all the, they're going to a real conference now. They're about to get worked. They shut that up real quick. Had an unbelievable year in one of the best basketball conferences in the country, and we'll see how the tournament goes, but they get a win or two, carry that momentum into March. I might have them winning a game or two, maybe 3. We'll see.
They have that upside. You cannot deny that. Similar to what people said about Houston, ironically enough, about now that they're in a real conference, they're gonna get exposed. They're the ones exposing.
Yeah.
Like no, if you're good, it travels. If you can beat anyone.
100%.
And BYU has proven that too. They They beat Kansas on their home court, which does not happen ever, like ever.
Yeah.
I think one of the stats was like Steph Curry is more likely to miss a free throw than Bill Self is to lose a home game. Super random, but
That's insane. Yeah, I don't even know how you get the statistics for that, but I'll trust it.
yeah. So, that there's a little nugget there, but
Yep.
yeah, good BYU team. Not counting them out. I really like the South Florida squad.
For sure.
Speaking of Bama against Appalachian State, this is where I have 2 double-digit seeds advancing. I trust this Bama team as far as I can throw them. I can't throw them far. And again, if you want to say Bama, here's the thing. I'm leaning Appalachian State in this scenario because if it was Bama, South Florida, I'm picking South Florida. So to me, why not just go App State? What's holding me back?
I mean, I guess respect because, spoiler, I'm going BYU, but I have Bama. I obviously their defense is garbage, but I feel like the offense is too explosive to get bounced first round. But I'm not gonna hate it, man. It's March.
And that's the thing. They have the offense, I think, to win 2 games.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's my cap.
Generous. Yeah.
And when a real bracket is out, it'll be interesting to see how I feel about Bama. I think this SEC tournament is going to tell me a lot.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I feel like I know what they are. And I don't love it. I really, really don't.
Yep.
This next matchup, Utah State. You want to talk about the opposite problem for a team? It's Virginia. They can't score like at all. They can't crack 50.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect to them at all. It's been a historically great program. I don't want to see them in. Like, I just don't. I'm taking Nova over them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm respecting Utah State and what they've done in the Mountain West. And I'm going to give them a victory to advance to the round of 32.
Yep. The should be Mountain West regular season conference winners as long as they don't slip up Friday, I believe. Like you said with Virginia, man, just zero offense in sight. Solid D, but it's a 2-sided game. I would also take Villanova. The matchup for me, Utah State, Villanova, it's a little bit more interesting. I'm not sure what quad Villanova would fall under, but if they were considered quad 1, Utah State is 3-4 this year in quad 1 matchups.
Yeah. I don't love... Well,
this also isn't a norm. Obviously, they're an 11 seed. This isn't. I'm not talking about a normal Villanova squad. This is a little bit of a watered down.
Mm-hmm.
No more Jay Wright.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it's just I don't know, man. So I'll give the nod to Utah State for sure. Great regular season, blew my expectations out of the water, but I feel like Utah State Villanova would be a pretty good game.
Absolutely. Yeah. This next one, we got Baylor against Louisiana Tech. Baylor, I have some worries about their defense as well. They also have, 2 of their key starting pieces are rookies or freshmen, excuse me.
Yep.
But I've got them advancing here. I like this Baylor team. I love their upside. I do. Again, like, defense doesn't mean you can't go like at all. Yeah. But I think it caps you in terms of winning a chip. Baylor, I think, is still a team though with Elite 8, Final 4 even upside. So yeah.
I'm going with the Bears as well. Just love love their squad a little bit more than the Tech boys, but
I agree. I've liked what I've seen from Baylor, and they've kind of like flown a little under the radar. People haven't been talking about them as a contender, and I think that kind of bodes well for them when the bracket does come out.
Yeah.
This next matchup, though, a Florida team who I love like a lot, taking on Seton Hall, who is on a. They're kind of weird to gauge because that Big East is like, in the same way the Mountain West is cannibalizing themselves, it's like Seton Hall, Providence, Nova, like all like rotating around the bracket.
Yeah.
But I have got 7-seeded Florida advancing to the next round.
Yeah, I also have the Gators moving on, but Seton Hall, man, they great win tonight.
Big,
yeah, for sure. So they got some momentum, but like you said, very cannibalistic culture out in the Big East,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
In the final round of 64 matchup in this hypothetical bracket, we got North Carolina against the Fighting Toothpaste. Are you gonna shock the world, Mo? Pick Colgate, or are you sticking with North Carolina?
The Tar Heels are one of my personal favorites to make it to the championship. I'm gonna stick with them to come out hot, but Colgate is a really great 15 seed. So
they are, yeah. I hope they get in.
Yeah,
like, I hope they win the Horizon because they can shot if they get a Marquette. That's
Watch
not
out.
fun.
Yeah.
Into the round of 32 though. 1-seeded UConn, 8-seeded Michigan State. I'm going with the Huskies.
Same here. Michigan State, a little too rocky of a year.
Yes.
Bad loss as a top 5 team in the country at the beginning of the season. And then, they again kind of shot themselves in the foot trying to dig out of the hole. They have quite a bit, but it's hard, man.
Agreed. This next one, I have a 12-13 matchup. It feels like, you've got to have one. You got to have one, 2 double-digit seeds in the round of 32. I've got South Florida advancing. They've been a team for me, getting ready for March Madness.
Keep that copy going. Keep that copy going.
Because
I got the Cougars. Like we said, Bama's defense can't trust them at all.
No, I agree, and that's the thing. It's like, even if I had BYU in the spot too, I'd have them beating Bama.
Well, so BYU puts up buckets.
Yeah,
they're leading the Big 12.
Yeah, so
points per game. So
that I just don't love that Bama team, man. And I don't want to sound like a hater. I love Mark Sears. Mark Sears is one of my favorite players in the country. He can drop 25 on you. The offensive, they're very, very fun to watch. Don't get it twisted. If you haven't seen Alabama play, you have to. But when I'm filling out a bracket, there's only so far I can take them.
Yeah, facts.
This next matchup, Utah State and Baylor, this is where I think Utah State comes to an end. Agreed.
Great season, but we're playing some legit competition, and they obviously played some good teams, but nothing like they would see against a Baylor squad. So
totally.
Yeah.
This next matchup I hinted at it.
You're a madman, bro. I need an explanation.
I love Florida's guard play. And it's funny. I just said this about like talking negative about Bama. They just hung 105 on them. And this Florida team is on fire. Now, this sucks. I really, really like North Carolina. I love RJ. When we talked about them, we both had them winning the ACC. So before anyone gets mad that like, you're too low on them, I'm not. This is not me being low on them. I'm too high on Florida. Like, they have this is crazy that I'm going to say this. They have Final Four upside. Oh, when I'm filling out my real bracket, it's going to be hard to pick a team to knock them out. So I know this is not going to be a popular pick. I understand most people would not have this pick, but I'm trusting the guard play that they have. They have 3 guards who can combine for 45, and this is really tough. Like, I'm starting to talk myself out of it, but I love this Florida team.
I'm gonna take Armando Bacot to put up 30, 25, and 6.
Damn,
and, sorry, but
disrespectful as hell.
Seriously, I'm just dead set on this Tar Heels team coming back. I don't know if they're going to make it to the title, but just inches away, literally, if the maybe court didn't give out on them from maybe having a chip, but
yeah. On to the Sweet 16. I've got UConn against South Florida.
Let's slide them over for both of us. Yep.
I rock with you, keeping it short and sweet. Yeah, I've got UConn. I love South Florida, but I think this is where they kind of get exposed, where it's like, okay, we had fun. You had your Cinderella run making the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
You played UConn now, and that's a tough one.
For me, similar thing with BYU. Obviously, I think it would be a little bit of a closer game, but I still think UConn would end up potentially running away with it. But
now, if you didn't like that last pick, you're not going to like this one either. I've got the Florida Gators making the Elite Eight and defeating Baylor.
I'm not mad at it because you have my path. There's a different team because I'm going North Carolina. So I can't be too upset at you. So
I love this Baylor team too.
Yeah.
Like, this is no disrespect. I really just think if you can beat North Carolina, you can beat Baylor.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that by that thought, if I'm going to have them beat North Carolina,
keep the momentum, keep rolling.
I've got to keep letting it roll. So I've got the Gators in the Elite Eight.
Not mad at you.
And
not mad at you. A
little
bit. But I think we hopefully come back to consensus here with the Huskies. Oh, dear God. I'm walking off. I'm walking off set. First time. First time.
I was trolling.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm glad that you saw me. I was gonna hope that you saw it.
Yeah.
And you did. So yeah, I've got UConn in the Final Four. We've talked about them all year. That was hilarious.
That one got me for a sec because I thought you double crossed me after.
No.
And again, this wasn't prior.
This
has been season long talks of us talking about college basketball in general. Adam last year didn't pull the triggers, so it's redemption. It's redemption for us.
Like Bob Marley said, redemption song. That's what we got.
Yep.
I was about to sing it. God, it's so hard not to. But let's move on. Okay. Final Four set. Mo, you've got Kentucky squaring off against Texas. Who have you got going to the championship?
I can't do it, bro. I want to say the Longhorns so bad, but I'm going with the Kentucky Wildcats.
As a 4 seed.
Finally put the little run to the end. Make it to the semis.
I'm not mad. They definitely have that upside. As for me, I've got Iowa State taking on Tennessee.
Yep.
I think Tennessee right now is on fire. And I've got them going all the way to the championship game as a 1 seed. Meeting. Both of us got UConn in the Final Four. I've got Houston and UConn. Boring Final Four matchup. Not in terms of play, but in terms of 2-1 seeds.
Yep.
Hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Both of these games would be.
It's so difficult. As for you have Duke meeting UConn. This is so difficult. But I'm going with the defense that Houston has to take them to the championship. My favorite player in college basketball, Jamal Shead, coming through and meeting Tennessee in the title game.
It's damn near impossible. Hasn't happened. I know I got one more game after this one. Give me UConn to make it to the Final Four. Give them a shot to go and defend the title.
To the chip. Yeah. That's
Oh shoot. Yeah, my fault. Yeah.
No, it's
this is it. So the slash is messing me up. This is it.
I know it's low-key missing. I'm like, wait, hold up. Is that my team? So you have Kentucky against UConn. We had this 20. I'm writing an article on it, so that's the reason I remember. But back in 2014, with Shabazz Napier and UConn, when they came out with a win over Julius Randle in Kentucky.
Damn.
So you're back at it
We're
again.
Back at it.
Who have you got, Kentucky or UConn?
Listening to my brain, listening to my heart, listening to my gut. UConn. I don't know their. But give me the Huskies. Give me the Huskies, bro.
As for me, Tennessee and Houston, which would make chef's kiss a beautiful matchup.
Oh my gosh, the defense of Houston trying to clamp up Dalton Connect and company.
And they can do it. And they can absolutely do it. I said it in our last video that I think Tennessee is the best team in college basketball. I'm sticking with it. The proof is in the pudding here in this mock bracket. I've got Tennessee coming out national champions.
Respect, man. I don't really have many problems with your basket, bro. I think that was a pretty well-reasoned, fair bracket, especially for our first glance.
Yeah. And again, this was just a mock. Yep. When we do our real one, we'll have way more stats. We'll deep dive on. This is almost a 2-hour video, so it's funny saying that. But like
less than our other one though.
that is true.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we got for y'all. Another mock. Let us know, who are y'all feeling? Who is your favorite? If you have one. It's gonna be a hell of a March Madness. It's gonna be crazy, man.
Yep.
Try and not grill me for that Florida pick. But if you are a Gators fan, look at me, bro. I rock with y'all. Come on, let them know. Tim Tebow time. It's almost NCAA football time, baby.
Love it. Can't wait.
It is.
Sports are up.
Sports are up. With that being said,
let's get the music up.
Song of the pod. Mo, what do you got for the people?
Dude, I don't know if it's just me listening to these songs. I try and go back and look at my songs of the pod. Try and not double up.
Fortnite song again?
To my knowledge, not a Fortnite song. Not a song that I've done yet. Playboi Carti featuring Chief Keef. Mileage. Coming off a Dial It.
Miley Cyrus.
One of my favorites. A little NSFW. Not
safe
for work, not safe for family, not safe for children, but obviously that should be known with the Carti song.
Yeah, my baby's in the womb, and I'm gonna be like,
but yeah,
you know they play like
Mozart.
Yeah, I'm playing Mileage, dude. The Chief Keef on that song,
dude. Real quick, busted out my stem player for the first time in a while last night.
Wow,
and was listening to his vocals on it, and was like, oh my. Dude, gosh, he is killing this. But
he is so good on that song.
Beautiful song.
The one I'm spinning back on Michael Jackson. I've been on sometimes I go through an MJ bender.
Sorry.
Where it's just all that I want to listen to. I like The Way That You Love Me. It's another love song, but like so good. The intro of it too, of the the like drums on there of him beatboxing in voicemail. It's awesome. I love that song. Another newer MJ song too. So that's what we got. Songs of the pod, a little March Madness preview. Shout out Andy Katz, Joe Lenardi, Jerry Palm, because it's basically a hybrid of all of yours. And we're so close to having a real bracket to fill out. We cannot wait.
No mistakes on that one, man. This was the trial run. They're gonna expect perfection next time around. So
they're not getting it,
lock
bro.
it in. But
they're not getting it because they don't have it either. They won't have it either. So
you don't have the answer.
Like you're gonna get mad at me, like, man, I knew Florida was fraudulent, and you're gonna pick like McNeese to win it. Like, relax, bro.
All right, sounds good, buddy.
With that being said, thank you for sticking around. Another almost 2 hours. We appreciate
7 minutes to spare
for
our previous bid.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all. We hope you have a great rest of your week. We got more March Madness content on the way, baby.
Check out those tourneys going on all weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Love y'all. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Take care. We'll see y'all in the next video.
Later, everybody.